Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Architect Founders Diary, powered by Architects Digest. And today we are joined by Divine Idokoh.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Um, it's a it's a joy to have you here. So Divine Idokoh is a sustainable agricultural advocate and a founder of Valley Bee, an initiative empowering rural community through smart beekeeping, food nutrition, and environmental stewardship. So today we are talking about bees, but not just bees. There's, this is about food security, climate resilience, and the future of farming in Nigeria. So guys, let's get started. So, welcome once again, welcome Divine to today's Agritech Founders Derby podcast show. And then, without wasting time at all, my first question will be: what inspired you to start Valley Bee, and how did you journey? And how did you journey into smart beekeeping?
Okay, thank you for having me. Honestly, it started out as a curiosity project and concern when I was giving admission in school to study agriculture, and when I started going into more of rural development work and climate work, and I started noticing that there was a pattern for farmers that were missing out something, that their produce was doing well, but their yield was dropping. It was drastically dropping. And one particular day, I went out for a walk, and I found myself going into someone's farm, and I was just in awe of the environment. And I noticed that the person's farm had two sections. One section of the farm was doing so great, and the other section was looking like the crops looked like they were still trying to produce more fruits. And out of like curiosity, I just asked the farmer. I was like, why is one of the sections doing so great and the other section was looking poor? And he explained to me, he said that the rains came well this year, everything was going so well, but something was missing out of it. At first, I didn't understand what he was talking about, right? And I just went in to read, okay, if your crops are doing so well, what could be the possible reason why maybe your crops are not doing so well? And I came across these videos that spoke about the importance of pollinators when it came down to food production. And it just clicked to me that probably what this farmer was talking about was these pollinators, because where the farm was located, you'd hardly see wildflowers that attracted pollinators to help some of these crops develop into what they're supposed to be. And then I just sat down and I asked the question now, okay, what if we created a technology that could a big technology that could help farmers for smart beekeeping and educate them on knowing that this is the importance of pollinators to our food ecosystem. That's how Valley Bee was born, just as a simple curiosity research project.
Hmm, amazing. So, let me ask: what's been like the technology behind it, behind your smart beekeeping?
The technology behind our smart bee are IoT sensors. Is
Mm-hmm.
IoT technology and sensors. That's just basically the technology behind our smart bees, our smart beekeeping.
Okay. How exactly does smart beekeeping support sustainable farming and climate resiliency in agriculture?
Well, smart beekeeping really is about tech that strengthens a very natural process. For, like I already said, the technology behind what we do is the IoT and IoT sensors. So these sensors now for us monitors the temperature, the humidity, the activities of these bees inside the hive to know, okay, what kind of diseases should we um look out for, and what are the kind of things that we can be able to get to prevent these hives from losses and improve colony strength. Why How this is very important for farming is because the stronger bee colonies are, the better
Yeah.
pollination becomes. And the more pollination becomes, the more our food system improves. Because pollination affects everything. A lot of farmers do not know that pollinators are so important for food, for our food system or our crop productions. So from food size to crop yields, and like let me just mention like few crops that really need pollinators like tomatoes, cucumbers, even oil palm really need and it depend on these insect pollinators. So apart on top of that, beekeeping itself is climate smart, right? It doesn't really require
Yeah.
land clearing or irrigation, just bees actually adding value to the land. So with every hive that we have or install, we're not just like producing honeys, we are restoring balance to our ecosystem.
Let me try to understand your model. What's like your revenue model? Do you sell the bees, or you harvest the honey and you sell the honey? So can you discuss the model?
Okay, the model behind this
Mm-hmm.
is we actually empower farmers with our hives, right? And we give it to them and tell them, okay, this hives can help you produce honeys. Not just only produce honeys, your crops they can improve. So the model behind this is that we just give these farmers, and for them, we sell the hives to them, and for them, it just improves their crop yields and also honey production. So they produce honeys now and sell, and then they also sell whatever crop yields that they get during the pollination season.
Mm. Okay, amazing, amazing. I mean, purpose often go from the ground up. Let's start. So it's amazing we having you share your purpose with us and how it all started. Because most people they don't realize how vital bees are to our food system, which
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
really making it vital for us to have this conversation. So, what have been some of the key challenges and breakthroughs since you've started, especially because you work with smaller farmers?
Okay, so one of the challenges we faced was access to rural farmers, because most of the farmers that we were
Mhm.
targeting were farmers that were not even aware that technology can improve their crop yields. So when we started out going to and have interactions with some of these farmers, it was very, very strange to them. So they would just look at it and be like, what kind of technology are we bringing for them? And I remember that there was a farmer when we were demonstrating the whole thing, he just said that it sounds like a radio for bees. And he got all of us laughing to know that these people
You said
really
what
know
it
what
sound
they
like
stand.
what? Sorry.
He said that the he called our technology radio for bees.
Okay.
And we found ourselves laughing and we realized that, oh, these farmers really do not know or understand there's a technology like that, right? And so that was our issue, having to know how we can include these people into, because that was our major, those are like one of our major targets. So we had a lot of explaining to do to them to let them understand that, okay, this is why we are doing this. And our biggest breakthrough came in when we got funding and were able to get partnerships with some research institutes. And there's this place in Plateau called College of Forestry, because basically what they just do there is just anything concerning crops, to just educate the students that this is what happens and this is the importance of so many things of to help our ecosystem. So when we're able to get some of these partnerships with them, we're able to now get access to some of these farmers. And then we were able to now train some of the students too in this college of forestry, because most of them too
Mm.
did not even know the importance of these bees in their economy. So after some of the trainings that we had with them, and after a while we came back to do our checkups, our check-ins, and then some of the students were very, very happy to say that the bees did so well. The hives we installed in their school, out of just let us just teach you to show you all these things, produced so much honey that they used for their school projects. They sold those honeys for their school projects, and they were all giving testimonies that they did not know how important bees were actually to their to the economy. and just excited to see that okay, this is a technology that actually really really works.
So far, how was
Yeah.
adaptation like? Like farmers adopting your product, how was it like for you? Was it an easy route for them to adopt the your technology?
No, it wasn't easy, honestly. It wasn't easy. But like I said, once we got partnerships with the like two of these institutions, that's the College of Forestry and the Research Institute, yeah, they were able to help us. They were able to help us. They gave us the guidance that we needed to be able to reach these people to say this is the technology, because adapting to the technology was very, very strange for them. They didn't really trust the tech. They were like, "Ah, if we really give people the tryouts, would we be at a loss or would we be at a gain?" Right. So when we started, the adaptation was really it was really discouraging because we really didn't know how else best to communicate our ideas for these rural farmers. But like I said, those research institutes and College of Forestry helped us there when it came to the adaptations.
Okay, amazing, amazing. Um, well, my next question for you will be, how has been like have you been able to fund the idea so far? Have you been able to navigate the idea in terms of funding? How has it been like for
Okay.
you?
Well, in terms of funding, when we started out, we basically just started out with using some recyclable materials in our environment, like abandoned drums. That's how we started out. Our prototype of beehive started out with abandoned drums. Got these drums, we built out a prototype and started proposing the ideas. We got rejected quite a number of times. But in 2020, around 2021, 22, we were granted a a funding, a grant funding of about, I think, $10,000 from the USADF, yeah, from the United States Bank of America. That grant that we were given was able to help us scale and boost our production. So that particular funding was what helped us scale to where we are today.
Amazing. So that's good. But generally, I think most of the issue we hear about founders having on our show, not just our show generally, I think it's just in basics is funding. That's why I asked
Yes.
about funding. But I mean, you've been lucky to have like the feed. Of course, the feed always teach you more than any textbook. So it's good that you're already in the feed trying to test the water, which is really really good.
Mm.
But my next question will be: Ask what are some practical ways young farmers or agri founders how can they integrate sustainability and biodiversity into their work, like you are doing with bees?
Okay. What I would say to or the practical ways that I can say to young farmers is it's about design, right? There are some kind of questions that you have to like answer when it comes down to agriculture. Like whatever you want to build, can it reduce waste? Like can it support regenerative practices like composting or intercropping? Because at Valley B, we said earlier that our hives had to be locally made from locally recyclable goods, like I mentioned earlier, and our sensors will run on solar because yes, our sensors do run on solar. So we had to ask ourselves like important questions: what value is our technology bringing to the economy? So you start with observation because I feel like nature is basically giving us like easy clues on the kind of problems that we can solve in agriculture. And like you can see in our climate now, the weathers have changed. Rains are coming in earlier than they usually will come in. The period where we're expecting rains to fall, we wouldn't see rain. It's more of dry season. Climate is changing really, really, really fast. So that can be your sustainability blueprint. You just begin to observe nature and begin to ask important questions like, what can we be able to solve? Because it won't start perfect, but when you start with intentionality, you'll be able to find, your solutions. This includes reducing your plastic or planting native species. That's what I would actually say. It's a way of building a future that still has food, water, and balance in our economy.
Did you get that? Did you get the question? Hello, did you get my question? Hello,
Hi.
did you get my question?
No, I didn't get your question.
I said if you had down, if you had the mic in front of a policymaker, what down policy would you want to see implemented? Can you hear me now? Hello.
I, I, I don't know what, I don't know if it's your network, but you left the call.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I was asking if you had the mic in front of a policymaker, what's that one thing you would tell them to prioritize for a more climate resilient food system?
Uh, if I had the mic in front of a policymaker, I would say
Yes.
they should invest more in grassroots innovations because I believe there are a lot of people that are coming up with so many smart innovations these days that are really being looked down on, and especially nature-based solutions. So they should invest in nature-based solutions because I believe that we can build food systems that can be climate resilient. So if we begin to ignore farmers who are mostly affected by this climate shock, I don't know what we are really, really solving. Because I know that as Bali B, we've seen what it means to support beekeeping in our community, even for the few beekeepers that we have around or the local farmers that do not understand the importance of these pollinators. We've seen how just coming around to educate them on this is the importance has already has already encouraged them, right, to understand that there can be increase in food security, biodiversity, and their local income. So if we're scaling, so by scaling some of these innovations, I know it requires funding and training and then the policy support. So the policy needs to stop thinking that innovation is something um, that cannot boost our agricultural systems in our economy, and then they should stop thinking that it's just things that happens in labs or urban centers because real innovation happens deep down in the communities where people are not even being heard.
It's minded that it's minded that the smallest creature when protected, can make the biggest impact. And that's what you are doing. So to our listeners, if you are building something that protects people, that protect planet, and that improve on our food system, we want to hear from you. So obviously, I think there's somewhere you can fill out the guest form link in this hello. So it's an honor to.
Why is it picking why is it doing it picking at the controller network rate?
Hello, can you still hear me at all? Or is it your network?
I don't think it's my network because your call keeps going off and coming back in.
Okay, I was saying, le- thank you very much for your courage, your voice, and the work you are doing with Valley Bees. It's minded us that the smallest creation when protected, right? Um, the smallest creation when protected can make the biggest impact, and that's what you are doing. So to our listeners, if you are building something like something that protects people, that protects the planet, or contribute to the food system space, who wants to hear from you. So try and I think you can get the guest link to be part of first.